Yeah, and on a not so serious level, when it all doesn't go well and you need a prayer candle, right? We have our collection of the stuff that doesn't get shown to all the tour guides, and we have our little wheezy prayer candle just in case we need a little extra loving.
Hello, I'm Bo Cumberland, your tour guide, and welcome to another episode of 10-Minute Distillery Tours. Today, we're embarking on a journey through the heart and soul of some of the finest distilleries around, from the aroma of aging barrels to the secrets behind crafting that perfect sip. We're diving deep into the world of whiskey. So grab your favorite glass, join me on this adventure, and let's explore the alchemy behind the magic in every bottle.
So here we are at Kentucky Artisan Distillery with my buddy Jade Peterson. Thank you for agreeing to show us on a tour and kind of show us around. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Really happy to have you here.
Good to see you. So first thing for our audience, talk about what is your title here and how long have you been here?
Yeah, so I'm technically Chief Operations Officer and Master Distiller here for Kentucky Artisan Distillery, and this is my 10th year actually here. So I'm the longest tenured employee that we've had here at Kentucky Artisan.
Awesome. So for those who may or may not have heard of Kentucky Artisan, talk a little bit about how Kentucky Artisan got its name and maybe kind of what all you do.
Yeah, so we started off really as bringing back the craft notion to the Kentucky bourbon world. So we were actually one of the first craft distilleries to do contract distilling on a craft level. So what we wanted to do was make the bourbon market affordable and approachable for people to get in and launch small craft brands. So we were able to really bring in people that wanted to do a 1 to 10 barrel blend of bourbon that they were designing or that we would design for them, distill it, age it, bottle it, and have a one-stop shop to be able to get it to market. And it really took a few years to get it up and running, but it really put the craft side back into it and let us be a true artisan facility.
Awesome. Well, you mind showing us around?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go. Cool.
Who's that young buck right there?
Welcome to the tasting room. This is where the tour guides get the party started. We set up the tours and tastings here, so we get everything set up, and then you get to continue on your journey. This room's pretty neat. We've got some cool old artifacts. We have a 1920 hand-hammered copper still, originally from early times. We actually ran that still until 2019. Its farewell project was a Ryman Rye that we will release sometime in the future. Step over here, we have actually one of the most expensive bourbons we've ever made, mainly because we had to purchase a boat. So we bought a boat, we put barrels in these cages, and we floated them down the Ohio, down the Mississippi, to Key West, and then back up to New York City, put them on a rail and brought them back. It took exactly 1 year to the day for us to make that journey. It was called Jefferson's Journey and was available for a twin pack. One barrel stayed here in Kentucky, its sister barrel made that journey, and you were able to taste the difference between water aging versus Kentucky rickhouse aging. And now if you want, we'll head out to the bottling room. So this is our bottling room. We have the capability to run about 20 different bottle types for 10 different customers, and we can bottle over 100,000 six-pack cases a year currently. So this line runs Monday through Friday, one shift, no weekends. There she is, all finished. We got Nate on the forklift. He's our barrel wrangler. The mill's outside, so we're not actually going to go outside and take a peek at it, but we have all our milling and equipment outside of our facility to help keep our dust down inside our facility. All the control panels and everything are inside, and this is our little screen that gives us a good visual of what's going on outside. So you can take a peek right here. This is about as automated as we get. We don't have any systems in our distillery that run by themselves. Everything we have still has to be manned by a human. So there is no red or green. You have to know what you're doing and be able to do the process. We'll head in here to the distillery proper. So as I said, we mill everything outside in the distillery. We bring it through the wall and the 2 white conveyors up top. They feed into our cooking vessel. We can cook 2,700 gallons at a time, and we do that at least twice a day. That's going to give us a minimum of 5,400 gallons of mash and about 10 hours of still time that we need. So we have our column still over here. We have an 18-inch Vendome continuous column coupled with our thumper. It's logoed right there with the Jefferson's logo.
Have you guys always been column still?
No, so we've actually, since I've been here, I've had 7 different stills that I've used. So it's been a different combination of 6 different pots or pot hybrids, and then this was our first introduction into the column world. We actually changed over our high proof still or gin still we had converted by Vendome into our thumper. So we did not purchase a separate one. We wanted to incorporate some of the old with some of the new. And one of the features that we did, we actually kept one of the old parts off of our 1920s pot still, is our tell box right here.
Oh yeah.
We actually took that off of our old still because we wanted to incorporate something with the new and the old, kind of wedding style. So this still allows us to run at about 1 gallon of distillate coming off per minute. So we can fill this tell box on a good day once every minute, which we collect here into these totes. Cody Tabor right here, he's our head distiller, and he's the one that gets to run the show back here. So Cody's in charge of the operations side of it back here. Ben hammers out the sensory and keeps us in line, and Cody keeps the show moving. So he kind of got all 3 of the moving parts for how we keep the distillery moving, and couldn't be more proud of the team that I have right now. What would you say your favorite part about being on the team back here is?
Oh, all the people I work with, of course, and then
The free whiskey.
the whiskey. You got the whiskey. That's the most important thing.
You can give this new make a little shot. We got 4 samples poured up here.
I mean, I won't say no.
I mean, it went in Kentucky, right?
Right.
So I think one of the common misconceptions is that White Dog is moonshine and vice versa, and it's not. So we're distilling to carry through flavors. We want that grain note to come through. We're using grains, not just sugar. There's no sugars added to our distillations. So a lot of times we get people come in on a tour or tasting and they're like, oh wow, that's not like Everclear. It's not like what, it's not moonshine. And a lot of the time we spend is spent on education and really informing people that there's a big difference between some of those different methods of distillation and making spirits. So I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah.
We do.
So, welcome to our walk in here.
Oh,
This is our lab area. We do a lot of our sensory processes here, document a lot of our stuff on our computer system. But this is where we're going to run DMA. We're checking proof, whether it's new make coming off the still, stuff we're getting ready to cut to go into barrels, or on the production or processing side, where we got final product and we're making cuts on a mix or on a single barrel or whatever. So we'll be analyzing it here. We got turbidity meters, so we're checking the how clean that product is after filtering, just depending on what the client wants. And then I run sensory stations here, so we're going to do a final quality check on anything that goes through. So, for example, we've got Jefferson's Ocean single barrels lined up here. I'll pull samples from each barrel. We're going to cut those down to 40 proof, and then we do just a simple pass-fail evaluation. We're tasting basically, is it clean? Is there a fault? Is there something wrong with it? Not what the flavor profile is. Or we got the Whiskey Row Cask Strength here, evaluating that one. And then we've got our new make. Before it goes into barrel, when we have our batch blended up, we're going to do an evaluation on that. Again, cut it to 40 proof. And we're checking for faults, checking for consistency, and we'll give a final yes or no before that goes into barrel quality-wise.
Yeah, and on a not so serious level, when it all doesn't go well, and you need a prayer candle,
Right?
we have our collection of the stuff that doesn't get shown to all the tour guides, and we have our little wheezy prayer candle just in case we need a little extra loving. We also have Steve Thompson's Rules of Bourbon. thank you for joining us on the tour. Normally, as we come back up here to the tasting room, we get a fine selection of different bourbons and whiskeys that we've put out in the last few months. Across the board here, we've got Jefferson's, Whiskey Row, and some Cream of Kentucky. But today we've got one straight off the bottling line. We've got Whiskey Row here, and it's our first cask strength release for the product. So we're really excited to share this. Figured this would be a good time to be the first people to taste this on camera or in the market. So let's give it a shot.
I won't say no to that.
Really nice color in this bottle.
It's beautiful. One of my favorite things we've bottled here lately.
So this was distilled, aged, bottled, all here at Kentucky Artisan Distillery. True to the Steve Thompson fashion, we've got a 4-grain. This one came in at 111 proof. And we barrel normally at that 110 marker. We go as low as 103 for a couple of our custom blends, but we like to keep it in that old school low entry proof. I think we pull a little different flavors.
Walk me through a little bit about, I mean, I know you guys, Whiskey Row is kind of your brand, but what makes you decide like we want to put out a cask strength or we want to put out a, different than just a flagship?
Yeah. So a little on the brand Whiskey Row. It was founded by Steve Thompson, the original founder of the distillery here. It's now owned by the Avalon Group. Mr. John Glover, who used to be involved with the Jefferson's brands, is the current owner of that. And we've been lucky enough to be able to continue business for him and really stay in the traditional methods that we were working with Steve at launch. He went with a more pre-prohibition, really early representation of a lot of the things we saw coming through Louisville. And this one actually being cask strength in just one recipe is one of the few that's not a blend for Whiskey Row. Most of them are a blend, and that's done not out of necessity to source other whiskeys to build up a bulk or hit a certain number, but more that Louisville was that initial blending source for whiskeys that were coming down from the Northeast. So as they were coming down the Ohio River, people were unloading barrels, any kind of containers they had. It made sense to consolidate. I mean, logistics is logistics. So if you're going to re-barrel, you got a half barrel here, pour them together, make one, ship it the rest of the way. We unintentionally started blending whiskeys as we were sending these down the rest of the way down to Louisiana and everywhere else that they were going to market. So we started doing that, not really knowing what we were getting ourselves into. And it's made good whiskey better. It's made good bourbon better. And it's allowed for a lot of crossovers. This just happens to be one of those recipes that we kind of fell in love with. We liked the high proof point. We didn't want to cut it down. And honestly, we needed another entry into the market because there is a big swath of people that really do love the full proof.
Whenever you have a product in the bottle, right? So you have your flagship, or you have like maybe, small batch or single barrel or cask strength. What do you tend to gravitate towards being the proudest of?
Well, for me, I've been here for 10 years. We've distilled over 30,000 barrels, and I've been lucky enough to be part of about 99% of all the barrels that have come through here on one part or another. And I think for me, that proud point was seeing those whiskeys go to market. And I really feel like the Cream of Kentucky Bottle and Bond Rye, that's 100% our distillate from our fields that we grew a mile away from here, distilled it, aged it, bottled it, did the whole process. The same with the Whiskey Row Bottled and Bond and this cask strength. Those are products that are us. We don't own the brands, which sometimes, that's kind of hard. You watch people get notoriety or attention and win these awards, and we got to remind ourselves and go out of our way to share it, with our team.
That's it. I mean, and that's what I love doing, is just continue to ratchet down on our quality and everything. Like, we've hit this level, that just means we can hit the next level, and we can push to the next level, and we can push to the next level, and just get better and better at fine-tuning every little bit of the process. I'm a big rye fan, and that's personally maybe one of my most favorite ryes I've ever had. The single barrels are really cool, and as just a whiskey fanatic, I love single barrels because to me, it's a true single barrel is boiling it down to its most pure point, one single barrel. But from a workmanship standpoint, I love the blends we do, because when you get everything blended, and it's just right, there's a lot of work that goes into that and pulling it off, and that for me is a point of pride. So,
well, thank you guys so much for the tasting. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Jade, for the tour.
Absolutely.
And everything. And And I look forward to seeing what all you guys do in the future. And I look forward to keeping up with where you guys go from here.
Absolutely. Come
Thank
back anytime you want. Love to have you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, folks, that's a wrap of our whirlwind tour of Kentucky Artisan Distillery. I hope you enjoyed the behind-the-scenes peek into the craftsmanship and passion that goes into every drop. If this little taste has left you thirsty for more, remember, the best way to truly experience is to pay a visit yourself. So until next time, keep those spirits high and glasses higher. This is Bo Cumberland signing off from 10 Minute Distillery Tours. Cheers and happy tasting.